as well for Team 12, and it shows that they have ways of being able to deal with that if they can't ban it, if they have to let it through. So we're seeing that HeroesHearth has done their homework, which is what you would hope to see and hope to expect from this team coming into the series.
They seem to have Blaze in their sights, as you just mentioned, so go with it again. That seems to be a key component that Team 12 has adapted, but by no means is it their only one, so still expect plenty here.
Team 12 quite a lot was picking Li Ming early on Battlefield of Eternity, even first picking it when they went into triple warrior mode. Versus Gale Force, they did switch things up. They played more of the Hanzo Malthael style, and they had Tyrael and Blaze with that. No Blaze. Blaze isn't a thing. They may get Tyrael. Doesn't seem like HeroesHearth has any interest in playing him yet. Or it might just be that it's a higher priority for Team 12. We'll have to see from that. Team 12, though, trying to figure out what the best ban is here.
There's so much to consider around the Greymane Genji Hanzo right now. Crowan has played an amazing Hanzo. He's normally near the top. I'm excited to see the stats after this weekend in terms of how high he actually is on the Hanzo. The Tyrael ban, which means that Greymane, Hanzo, and Genji have all been let through. I feel that if you're going any direction, Greymane would have higher priority than potentially giving up a Greymane Genji on the other side to Team 12.
Team 12 at least has the, no matter what they get there, they get Uther with it, if that's where they want to go with that. And that might be the best play. Put BBJ back on something else. See if his Lucio worked out really well, but test him a bit.
I mean, this has to be Hanzo or Greymane. They are devising strategies, I think, around that in their own draft and potentially the counter picks that could be coming out from Team 12. If it's anything beyond that, you're a little bit surprised.
How big of a fear is Abathur with those kinds of power picks up, though, too?
That is true. I mean, technically, it's highly unlikely that the enemy team would take Greymane and Hanzo. So if you wanted to go a different route, you might get one of the two that's left over.
Every death comes on.
Hanzo.
Honor, redemption.
So Genji Uther's up, Greymane Uther's up.
Tassadar Uther is up if it goes back the other side.
Yeah.
That's what I'm scared of. Greymane Uther here seems really appealing.
Yeah. Buds hasn't been super successful with Uther. Not that he's... They just find more success with other supports. Like, he's played a lot of Lucio and found success from that. Malfurion too. But it does seem more... Uther is way more highly focused from HeroesHearth, but I agree. I don't know if I'd be willing to give that up.
I mean, it is tried and true for HeroesHearth, especially in Crowan's role. So if you're gonna give that up, then you're gonna have to draft around it. And being the team drafting to counter the other team is not always the best thing. It can work. You go Genji,
yes.
Uther.
Abandons no man.
Leaves up Greymane. That may get picked, may get banned by HeroesHearth, but it does let Team 12 make sure that they have this really powerful pick for team fights and the support necessary to enable it.
Hanzo Greymane, it's not bad, but I don't see that here for HeroesHearth.
Yeah, that's kind of why I was mentioning a ban.
Yeah, I think that it'll definitely have to approach the second ban phase unless they surprise us here, but ETC still available, as we've seen BBJ play.
Even if Greymane got banned, Team 12 could go the double reset mode with a Li Ming Genji. So I like that 1-2 pick for them. It's not as race oriented, but it does let them try to make sure that they're gonna win the fights, and they can be pretty dominant here. Early Malthael to ensure it makes it through the second ban phase, and the Tassadar.
It gives them good team fight potential, and it gives them good race. I mean, Malthael gets that percentage-based damage, so you can always kind of casually poke away if it comes to a stall area. Tassadar, obviously, we've seen the pairing with Hanzo so far, going into the auto attack. Just a matter of getting, you know, the cooldown reduction potentially at 4 and 7 to really kind of make that work. But either way, Tassadar fits into there. And Malthael, of course, Tormented Souls against Uther. So it's a strong start to the draft. But with Team 12, still 3 picks left. Still a lot to be done with it.
What's going to set that up for success now? Is it a support? Are they looking at the next highest played as Rhaegar in the Ancestral Healing as enabling Malthael? Is it Karazim?
Feels like it probably may be more Karazim than anything, but as we've seen so far, it could just as easily just be a
Lucio. Yeah.
Well, it won't be a Lucio now.
That's what I thought it was. As you were talking, I was like, no, it's gotta be Lucio. And it's not, because it's banned.
There's the Abathur Fear. You know, I'm trying to think of how I would feel about Tracer here. Not now, but like at least in the draft somewhere for Team 12, in the last pick specifically. I think that'd just be it's very aggressive when you go Genji Tracer, but there's certain teams that I've seen pull it off where I'm like, all right, you know, that definitely works. And then I look at the side of Hanzo Tassadar, and then potentially, you know, you're looking at Malfurion, Stukov. There's not a lot of supports left that, I mean, Karazim Palm would pretty much be the only go-to option beyond that, but Karazim will be locked in before your last pick.
Not a ton of the synergy that we traditionally see with her, but teams have made that work nonetheless. A Tracer pick work. Looking for a warrior, we'll get ETC and the Li Ming Genji. Double reset across the sky.
Did you see that temporal loop Dragon Knight kick? See that clip yet?
No.
He was temporal looped, and he was kicked by the Dragon Knight, so it was just like this arcing sand, like all the way across the screen.
That's awesome.
So ETC Li Ming gives them the tried and true composition of power slide, easy skill shot, follow-up. Now, if you're on the side of Heroes Hearth, you have to consider, do you go Johanna, which is a little bit safer pick to deal with that, or do you go Muradin like you did last game, which was played well? I think there's a couple things to consider. I can't see much beyond those two warriors, especially with Blaze and Tyrael already banned out.
Ishbu's played quite a bit of a new Barak. You've got Scarabs to try to deal with, or soak up some of the Li Ming skill shots. We get Ishbu's Diablo and BBJ's Rhaegar.
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie to you, Gilly. Rhaegar against Genji is just so hard. Like, it is, because self-heal, right? The chain heal is now a flat number across however many people it hits, right? You can't self-ancestral, and the shield is only going to go so far, which is likely going to be prioritized for Hanzo. If you get even to half health on Rhaegar, you are looking for a Genji Dragon Blade immediately. And you cannot save Rhaegar in that case. You have to go all in, and if you've got a D-shield on Genji, like, Rhaegar is literally throwing out Ancestral, and then he's waiting to respawn. That's just how it works against the Genji. And I'm afraid for that with the Rhaegar pickup here.
I hear you. There's not a whole lot to try to keep people off of him, and Dahaka just adds to that with a drag.
They do have strong initiation, as we've seen, with that force wall into the Diablo stun. I don't know if we'd see Archon, especially when that can be so powerful. I think Archon is definitely viable and might just be there for the double shift to make sure and get out of there. If there is the dive, that'd be really one of the main reasons. It gives you more offensive style plus defensive, but in terms of like team synergy and getting those picks, force wall might be too much to consider.
There are a lot of chokes where you can try to split out with a force wall, but I'm also thinking of trying to funnel Team 12 in through some of those chokes, as well as gates. We have seen Heroes Hearth use that combo on a lot of gates. And it's because if you Dragon's Arrow people as they're going through the gates, you hit a few and you hit Apocalypse underneath at the right time. Not everyone's gonna make it out because you're running through your teammates' Apocalypse. I call it the old Char and Scar. And let's see how it works out for Heroes Hearth. If they can win this game, they will get a series win over Team 12. And that would be such a great way to end week 3 for Heroes Hearth.
That would be pretty bold statement if you're Heroes Hearth to stake your claim there, but everything here pretty much across the board looks standard, Power Hungry being the pickup. Hanzo, hard to imagine it wouldn't be redemption with a Tassadar, but he's sitting on it for the moment.
Yeah, you've got simple geometry if you want more of the scatter arrows. And he's gonna go for that.
Goku Genji, by the way. Goku Genji, Cure on Dahaka.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I did not expect that at all. There's something about that matchup. The Dahaka maybe Cure his time on Dahaka in the previous iteration of this team. Trying to hit the max range tongue, unable to hit that, so he'll get a little bit of essence and Burrow charge up top. Or just Burrow. Brush Stalker.
Don't worry, buddy. I've been saying crazy things too. It's been a weekend. Feels all topsy-turvy with Heroes Hearth with a 2-1 over Team 12 so far.
All right, we do get the scatter arrow built.
Yeah.
Kelly, you did mention that with the simple geometry. I'm just trying to figure out. So Block Party was picked up on the side of ETC. That's kind of what brought it back to. It's a fun interaction trying to shadow charge as a power slide comes through. It really brings up with Block Party especially. I mean, your auto attacks are going to be really tough to come across. You are full in on getting that spread damage as well as race.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it's more focused toward that execution of the combo that we have seen them execute so well. If they believe that a lot of their success in team fights comes out of being able to filter in Team 12 into a choke point and hit the Dragon's Arrow into the Ishbu Apocalypse, and we're talking about synergy. Power Slide, Cure stalking in, gets the drag, so they'll take out First Blood. But Heroes Hearth with this 2-3 is doing significant damage to the top lane structures.
Yeah, getting in some of these minions here to deny experience will help mitigate some of their losses when it comes to losing Hanzo.
Another thought for the simple geometry might just be that you want to have 2 extra scatter arrows, so when you take serrated arrows at 4, you have more arrows for ripping through the Immortal. Yeah. Control the Immortals, and you control the positioning of Team 12 even better. You force them back into their base, you force them to retreat. You set them up so that they're on the run, and that's when that composition comes alive with the combos.
We see Team 12 here. They're grabbing their Shaman Camp, and in response, Heroes Hearth will be grabbing theirs, and the Hanzo going to be a little bit quicker. That way they make sure they have it in time for the 3-minute Immortal, which will be here in a matter of moments.
Team 12 are making sure they get right out and aggress up to the top, which is where Malthael's trying to sneak a camp. He sees that and backs right on out. No, thank you, Team 12. You can have me leash this. The Immortals are set up. Team 12 doing some structure damage up in the top. This is going to bring up Heroes Hearth to try to do a little bit of a chunking to the Immortal.
Goku diving on the backside to Crowan, but the charge into the wall. Oh, the flip was going to go over, but nice power slide in by Justin.
Now McIntyre will be back and forth. Doesn't have on a pale horse to get the rotation between lane and the Immortal a little bit faster, but it's his job to try to find places to go in, throw out the Death Shroud, get the mark on the Immortal, then go back up and soak. He'll be back and forth to do that. Meanwhile, the team's starting to rotate down. Crowan in danger as Goku gets that kill, setting up for a little bit of reset action for Dansky, as he'll throw a combo over the wall and do chunking damage to that Diablo.
Yeah, Ishbu had actually gone down right as Dahaka brush stalkered in, and then the chase ensued. So good play there by Cure to come in that backside and help get that. It was a really fun interaction because Diablo actually was shadow charging in and actually ate that tongue that was intended for Crowan, but still ended up dying anyways.
Justin has got the Ishbu in his sights every time he charges in, knocking him around. But still, with a flip over, Buds goes down as the swap happens. And Heroes Hearth pushing back Team 12. They rotate around. Looking like they're going to try to defend, at least for a little bit, slow things down, soak up some of those Dansky shots, while they get the lead in the Immortal.
Kira in prime position to get max value off that wall for this race. I mean, Ishbu's going to go down, but they're going to get the Immortal. I mean, that would have been even faster had he had level 7, but as you said, just Hanzo race. He's almost done with his level 1. Could have been a little bit faster in level 7. If he goes to cooldown reduction, will be even faster, and he does.
All right, are we going to get Diabolical Momentum some more for more combos, more controls, or has Ishbu felt the burn of all of the attacks? Yeah, he's going to go for Soul Shield. It's going to help him a lot with the Li Ming damage, Genji damage too, those Swift Strikes.
So this is something I was actually making note of just this weekend, is that the old school kind of team expert style was that you knew that the shield on the Immortal wasn't that great. So you send your solo laner down to the opposite, and then you 4-man push up there. You end up getting an entire wall and some fort damage. That's kind of the trade-off that you get. If they had a different composition, they might have been able to get even more. Good cleanse there by BBJ.
Excellent. Kira was gunning for it, getting the drag. McIntyre's been in the bottom, taking that camp. Ishbu's keeping an eye on this top one while he does so. We're seeing Team 12 rotate down to clear out that lane, and they'll have to clear out the camp too. Goku's going to see if he can get the catch on McIntyre, who dodges through Justing and the power slide. Excellent job by McIntyre to stay alive there.
Calculated. He knew exactly what was coming, applied his Reaper's Mark, and then used the juke. I mean, that is... McIntyre seems to be settling in well. I mean, he had a rough start, admittedly. He would admit it his own self during week 1, but as the season's gone on, he has done nothing but improve his play and impress. And it's always been there. It's just a matter of getting comfortable and making it happen. He's doing it, man. He's definitely doing it.
Yeah, it seemed like he knew that those ganks on him were going to be very likely. And with all the mobility that Team 12 has, the global of Cure and then the Genji too, that Fear the Reaper is a really nice pickup because you can move through other units from that and get the movement speed bonus. He's stayed very safe despite multiple gank attempts. We've got another one as Cure stalks in. Ishbu, though, uses that to his advantage to push on through. With the cleanse, he'll be just fine.
This BBJ is just on point. I mean, I don't know if that one was really close to landing. Diablo has a really high hitbox. You got to get out of here. They really want that fort. I don't think those minions, they might... Nope, they changed priority target. I mean, HeroesHearth left just in time, but they are close enough. No cleanse available there.
Man, Team 12 has been all about the fights, and HeroesHearth has just not really been willing to give it to it unless they've got a huge advantage. But finally, Team 12 hit their mark. They get 2 very fast kills. The harassment in on McIntyre's BBJ is there. No heroic abilities available for HeroesHearth as Goku starts hacking and slashing through that Malthael. And Isolation 2 dragging BBJ back into the fray. With Goku still there, a wave of force. Dimensional Shift gets Arthalon out, but not so much. Just kidding. Full team wipe as team at 12 look good.
That Force of Will got dropped down behind the gate. All I saw was like the little purple image of Li Ming. But I think that went a lot worse than it should have for HeroesHearth. It seems like somebody's trying to save somebody, somebody's trying to save somebody else. And sometimes you just kind of got to let them go, man. And they were unable to do that. Now that gives the lead to Team 12. They've kicked off the halftime show without much of a fight back here from HeroesHearth.
Yeah, Team 12 kind of marking their territory over Battlefield of Eternity. Finally getting fights and having a lot better luck at starting engagements than they had in the past with the Johanna composition. But now McIntyre is going to be on a lot of people. Mosh pit used. Apocalypse goes down. There's a lot of people standing on that as Ishbu fires forward. Dansky in danger. ETC and Dansky down 2 kills as HeroesHearth get back in with their combo. And they're body blocking Kira until they take him down. Just kidding. He stalks out just barely.
Are you
he
kidding
is
me?
so low.
And he put down the spray.
That's all you need.
That is how you do it. Ah, Goku. So much fun. But now the race is here. You know, there was a really good cleanse onto that ETC during the mosh, but the staggered CC as the APOC came in as that wore off worked out very well for them. And now when you have Hanzo, you can couple this because this Immortal pushes the weakest or the strongest lane. So that will be the bottom. So they're going to get a Shaman camp to come in behind it.
Team 12 will do the same. They'll have that in the top. That might draw some of Heroes Hearth up there.
I think it's going to have to, because that will trade off a fort. Like, that 100% trades a fort, and we already see Malthael going up. And so look for Team 12. At this point, Gilly, once this fort goes down, it is very possible that Goku will brush Stalker in behind this team fight and look to try and get a gank and take the fight behind the Immortal. This Immortal's early enough that you can fight behind it. I think Heroes Hearth recognizes that threat.
Yeah, they need to keep eyes on those vents, which they are doing. They hear the stock. They're moving back. Move back even further. That scares away. They even use the force wall just to make sure, but now they know where Kira's at. They don't have McIntyre here. McIntyre's up at the top. He didn't have Tormented Souls yet, and they don't have Ancestral Healing, so they just can't quite be as aggressive as they would like, but they at least take out the fort. They defend their own top fort. They're still leading in structures. They're still leading in experience. Slightly.
Yeah, one of the things that Goku did there was that he actually stood in the vent directly above where we saw McIntyre there a second ago. And so by hiding there, Heroes Hearth was forced to be kept honest. And they were sending McIntyre hopefully to get eyes on Goku. But again, Goku's experience in this role, those are just some of the small things you do. You expect that out of people, but Goku just exemplifies everything that you want in a solo laner. And just making sure to try and get that. They lose just a fort and nothing else in the process.
I just have to say, though, that Team 12, a lot of this time has been so interested in team fighting. They're going to get an opportunity again as they've got the charge into the force wall. And a lot of times in most of these games, Heroes Hearth has been sort of baiting it, but also making sure that they're split pushing. They use their globals. In the last fight, they were split pushing up in the top. They got caught for it, and they were punished for it. They were wiped. But it's Team 12 who has had to get back into this game through those team fights, and it's felt like that in a lot of these. And that's what's been amazing, and that Heroes Hearth can do that to a team as formidable as Team 12. And the Apocalypse went down, the Dragon's Arrow did not connect, so the start of this combo has not been favorable for Heroes Hearth, but it has been good for Team 12 as they take out Tassadar quickly, and they're charging forward, J-Howe.
They're charging forward. McIntyre doing everything he can to stay alive, which was not enough, as Heroes Hearth suffers 2 people down in that fight. Now Team 12 will look to take a camp potentially that is not there. They rotated up, said, hey, it's not there. And they don't have a great sieging composition, so they can't just walk up to the fort, so they'll wait for this to spawn, maybe look for another kill. It's hard to get value out of things sometimes.
Yeah, they have their global to keep lanes pushing. And they have the Genji and the Dansky poke for those long, drawn-out Immortals. But it's when they lose the Immortals, when they have to back off, that Hanzo can just rip through one. They do good damage here before they back off. They don't force halfway, but they do good damage.
And that's a big step for them. It's much harder for Crowan to land from this side, as you can see. Getting that simple geometry down is not as easy as it seems. Sometimes you just try and bounce it a little bit. See if he can continue. There it goes. And that will chunk away.
Yeah, and as we know with Heroes Hearth's comp, it's very heroic dependent. There's still a lot of heroic abilities that are there, not Dragon Blade, but Divine Shield's going to be up in a few, and Team 12 can be more of the aggressors, knowing that they have a lot of those heroic abilities, and that Heroes Hearth are sort of still waiting on having their full combo, although it's just about here now. But Team 12 are hoping that they can get the poke in to force halfway. Nice force wall into the charge.
I was going to say, I was about to call it. You saw them try that a moment before. They tried to get the force wall onto the stun, get the follow-up. That forces the cleanse out. Now you only have the Divine Shield. So they'll try and make a similar play. But with this being on a safe side for Team 12, they might be able to just go in and do this.
As long as they're bullying the Ishbu, but the Dragon's Arrow hit, the Apocalypse underneath it as the combo once again does work to Team 12. Goku has the Dragon Blade, but he is far too low. In fact, he is just gone and can't do anything to stop this. And that's the point. It was a scary spot to fight for the idea that it was Heroes Hearth Immortal, but also Heroes Hearth, it's those kinds of points where that combo is just devastating to a team. Team 12 could have lost a lot more. They only lost the 2, they'll be back up, but it gives the time again for Heroes Hearth to get another Immortal.
Hanzo, by the way, just casually just taking them down. I am surprised that Team 12 only made it out of there with 2 people that went down.
Me too. Looking at those health bars and how well that combo hit. McIntyre was on just about everybody with his Tormented Souls, and where the APOC was, the arrow too, that's the execution we expect from Heroes Hearth, especially with that comp.
With Divine Shield down, Heroes Hearth has kind of a one shot, right? They don't have APOC, but they still have the charge into a Force Wall. They'll have one opportunity to get a kill off of that. Goku jumping right over it. Force Wall again in just a matter of seconds. Once this gate goes down, they'll see if they can make it happen.
There's an arrow too. There's a Force Wall. Blink away as the teleport comes down from Dansky. Flip over.
Doesn't have 16 to get that reset just yet.
Roasting takes a bunch of damage.
There it is.
There it is, the combo. It's on Buzz, but it's more designed just to allow the team to safely take that keep. This is about a half health Immortal still, but HeroesHearth didn't get the combo yet. Great Cleanse gets ETC out. Ishbu catches Goku. Hammer of Justice stops the flip, allows Goku to escape. Buzz saving the day there.
That is money. There's a cleanse onto Ishbu, but the knockback is there. The Force Wall is out. Let's see. Dragon Blade coming in on the backside. The Ancestral is going to land onto McIntyre, and now they're going in. Dansky is going to get it flipped over. Dansky goes down.
Man, and the 1v1, Diablo reigns supreme there over Li Ming. A mosh pit catches two underneath the core, but Justin just goes down. This looks like it might just be HeroesHearth Esports taking out Team 12. And what would be the upset of the weekend as they bring down the core. HeroesHearth proves just why they're here in HGC and that they can contend with the top of North America.
Wow. I think everybody that